Thank you for watching. Comment any ideas you would like to see in future videos. I'll do my best. Be sure to vote for your favorite merch design. I hope the music was to your liking. Please support the channel so I can afford to branch into other art content and maybe gaming.
14 Best Historical Manhwa You Should Read. Discovering great manhwa is easier today with numerous platforms offering a variety of genres for readers to explore. Korean comics offer fresh perspectives on cultures, providing engaging stories with intriguing characters. From stories of reincarnation to political intrigue, manhwa offer unique takes on classic themes. In the past, it took a lot of searching to find manga volumes, and even then, they weren't always translated into other languages. Now, all the top strips can be found everywhere, from stores to online apps and websites, and it's easier to find newer, rising media. For example, if Japanese comics feel old hat, readers may prefer Korean comics or manhwa. They can offer a new perspective on classic genres, especially historical ones. They can delve deep into Korean culture or simply tell a good story set back in the day with plenty of drama and interesting characters. With enough browsing, readers can find some truly great historical manhwa. 14. Baroness Goes on Strike. Baroness Goes on Strike also sticks to a European-themed fantasy land while following a trend that spun off from the isekai boom, reincarnation. In her first life, Countess Kasia Ruberno was ordered by the Emperor of Simone to marry Baron Zester of Greece, a mercenary knighted for his war efforts. After a decade of trying to run Zester's land alone, she died from an incurable disease. But her death takes her back 10 years to the day she met Zester. Given a new chance at life, she rebels against the Emperor's order and declares she'd rather live a stress-free life alone than marry the Baron. Yet despite starting this new path, Zester still tries to woo her, which intrigues her. Like a manhwa-themed version of Peggy Sue Got Married, maybe things will get better for both of them on this new path. 13. The Divine Surgeon. Joining the medium's wide range of isekai, reincarnation, and isekai reincarnation stories is the Divine Surgeon. However, it's unique in that, instead of some 17th–19th century European theme, or Joseon Korea, it takes its lead back to ancient China. Dr. Jinsu did his best to live a noble life, only to get conned, fired, and killed by his professor. But a mysterious being takes his good deeds to heart and rewards him with a second chance at life. However, his second chance is being reborn as the legendary physician Hua Tuo, who lived through the end of the Eastern Han Dynasty just as it split into the infamous three kingdoms of Wei, Wu, and Shu. Aside from having to survive these turbulent times, Jinsu Tuo has to figure out how to treat people without modern conveniences, making medicines, anesthetics, and more from scratch. 12. The Elixir of the Sun. The Elixir of the Sun goes to a fantasy world based on ancient Korea rather than the Middle Ages. It follows Bien, a member of the Saio clan. Their members usually have the power to heal sickness, but Bien didn't inherit this ability. To get her out of the way, the Saio send her to the court of Dawn, the Great Sun Emperor. But this isn't a cushy position, it's a death sentence. Dawn suffers from violent outbursts that cause him to slaughter his own concubines, and Bien is next on the chopping block. However, there's something about her that soothes Dawn's mood. Through their encounters, some more adult than others, they discover Bien may be more of a healer than they know. 11. The Crown Prince's Scandal. From princesses having to fight for themselves and consorts turning a death sentence into a romance comes a tale of a girl who didn't want to be a noble in the first place. Well, kind of. The English title may be The Crown Prince's Scandal, based on the Imperial Palace's Crown Prince's selection. But the role is more akin to a concubine, which might be why its lead, Hua Yun, is angry at her little sister for signing her up for it. She does her best to get disqualified and sent home early, but as luck would have it, she meets Crown Prince Shin Yan himself. Seeing through her scheme, he intends to make sure she passes the process just to annoy her. Now, Manhwa Yan has to try harder to avoid winning and getting stuck with Shin Yan for 6 months in the palace. But as she gets to know him and the court well, the role may start sounding more appealing. 10. My Royal Awakening. My Royal Awakening is an isekai with a difference. This time, an average guy struggling to get by in modern Korea gets a shot at the high life when he's reborn as a noble during the Joseon dynasty. Unfortunately, he was reborn as Grand Prince Jin-sun, the younger foster brother of King Yeonsun, Korea's most notorious tyrant. During his 11-year reign, he suppressed free speech and education, purged scholars, and abducted women from across the nation to serve as his court entertainers. The new Jin-sun could let history take its course, where he would succeed Yeonsun after a coup. But perhaps if he took a more active role, he could change things for the better. 9. The Unwelcome Guests of House Fildet. Not that there is anything wrong with historical-themed settings. They can just get quite samey. After the fantasy medieval worlds and 19th-century noble settings, The Unwelcome Guests of House Fildet changes things slightly by being about nobles in the early 20th century instead. Even then, it focuses less on the political intrigue and more on the domestic drama. Hayden Fildet's life with his parents, the Count and Countess of Fildet, used to be idyllic and stable. But it gets turned upside down when someone from his father's past comes back and introduces everyone to Hayden's long-lost half-brother. His prospects as the family heir are now in jeopardy, but Hayden is more worried about what it'll do to his family. Will they manage to stick together, or will they fall apart? Fildet's future now isn't as certain as he thought it'd be. 8. The Blue Guardian of the Princess. If readers want a mature story that isn't so steamy, The Blue Guardian of the Princess offers that with its political intrigue and unlikely romance. Following the death of her younger brother, Princess Yeonmyoung is cast out with her mother, the Queen Dowager in Mokbi, to a palace far from the imperial court. With the wife of the emperor, Kim Gai-shi, plotting against her, and the threat of a mythical beast looming on the horizon, the odds are seemingly against the princess. But she gets help from an unlikely source in the Goblin King, who vows to stay by her side and protect her against all threats. Maybe, together, they can overcome the political intrigue and save the nation. 7. The Tale of Goldilocks, the Black Kitten. Person with a cat stories are surprisingly popular. Aside from the ever-present Garfield in the West, there's also the manga A Man and His Cat in Japan, as well as the Natsume Soseki novel I Am a Cat. Whether they're sweet or snarky, these slice-of-life stories involving felines are simple, straightforward, and relatable to anyone who's ever looked after a cat or two. The same goes for Korea, as The Tale of Goldilocks, the Black Kitten shows. Set during the Joseon dynasty, the titular kitten is sadly mistreated by the locals because they believe black cats are bad luck. But they're taken in by a kindly young scholar who, though sickly, does his best to look after the excitable young kitten. If readers are in need of a simple, sweet manhwa, they don't get much sweeter than Goldilocks. 6. Whale Star, the Giant Mermaid. House Fildet, Honey, and Your Throne are intriguing stories with historical settings. But they're not exactly unique to manhwa. There are plenty of isekai, reincarnation, and domestic dramas worldwide, but there aren't many stories like Whale Star, the Giant Mermaid. It's even been adapted into a live-action TV drama. Set in occupied Korea in 1926, it's about Suwa, the illiterate maid to a pro-Japanese family. Things take a turn when she finds a man washed up on the beach. Nursing him back to health, he introduces himself as Ui Hyeon, and the two bond. He even tells her the story of the Little Mermaid. But he reveals part of the Korean resistance, willing to fight to free Korea from Japan's clutches. Like the mermaid, she may have to give up her life of relative comfort to join a noble cause. 5. Her Tale of Shimchong. Every country has its old classics, whether they're folklore passed down through the centuries or epics and poems later published as novels. One of Korea's examples is the Tale of Shimchong, where the titular character throws herself into the sea as a sacrifice in order to restore her blind father's sight. Her wish is granted, and she's rewarded by being reborn as an empress. Her tale of Shimchong takes the story's premise and tweaks it a bit. It still follows a poor girl who does what she can to help herself and her father survive. But things change when she meets Madame Zhang, the arranged fiancée of the local chancellor. The two have nothing in common but a desire to leave their lives behind and let fate take its course. Perhaps they'll find it together in this highly rated girls' love take on the classic story. 4. Your Throne. It can be tricky finding the full-on historical manhwa, as using historical as a keyword will often bring up isekai stories or history-themed fantasy tales rather than real historical settings. For example, Your Throne's Vasilios' empire takes its name from the emperors of the Byzantine Empire, but their aesthetic is more Victorian-era meets Fire Emblem. The Greek theme continues with the characters' names, as the scheming Medea Solon swaps bodies with the popular crown princess Psyche Callisto. This way, she'll get her chance to run the empire with the crown prince Eros or Vasilios. Psyche plans on reclaiming her position, but to do that, she'll have to learn how to be as cunning as Medea while learning what life is truly like for her subjects. 3. The Fantasy of a Stepmother. Also known as A Stepmother's Märchen, The Fantasy of a Stepmother is about a second chance at life. Shilai, the Iron Widow, was barely older than Marquis Johannes von Neuschwanstein's eldest child, Jeremy, when they married. After he died, she was left alone to look after the household, perform her duties as Marchioness, and look after 4 stepchildren who didn't trust her. Nonetheless, she did her best for them for 7 years, hoping Jeremy would succeed her and his late father after his marriage. But after getting caught in an accident, she awakens to find herself back in the past, hours after her husband's death. Now she has to relive her past again, but with her old memories intact. She hopes to build better relationships with her stepchildren to avoid making the same mistakes again. 2. An Awesome Power. Being the newest entry on this list, recommending an awesome power might seem a little premature. There's always a chance its plot could take a polarizing turn. Yet Han Jung-Wolia has had a knack for writing strong, action-based web novels, each of which has been adapted into popular manhwa since 2020. This is why the latest adaptation of his work came out to critical acclaim. It's a Prince and the Pauper-style story. Only the Pauper is Jiang, a serial killer known as the Slaughtering Scythe. Mok Jian-woon, the third master of the Mok Sword Manor, offers him a chance at freedom from prison if he takes Mok's place. He agrees and then takes Mok's life as well as his place in the manor. But how long can he pretend to be the third master before someone figures out the truth? Life at Mok Sword Manor might not be as easy as it seems. 1. Bring the Love. Zestco is best known for making BL stories like Reddish and Black Dog Slave Prince, the latter also being a historical tale set in Middle Ages Poland. While it's a good choice for people who fancy a little yaoi in their lives, it's their more heteronormative piece, Bring the Love, that got the love. It's available on multiple platforms in English, where it was acclaimed by fans and critics alike. That's likely because it's got more than the typical meet cute. In the 13th century, Leah Hildebrandt is one of the most popular nobles in the country for her looks and manners. But she's got trouble finding a suitor. After her brother Raihat went missing, presumed dead, and her father passed away, she now has to find a suitable partner to marry to maintain her family's noble status. It would be a marriage of convenience, but depending on how fate intervenes, it could be more convenient than she thinks.
Comment any ideas you would like to see in future videos. I'll do my best. Like, subscribe, and ring that bell. Thank you for watching. Comment any ideas you would like to see in future videos. I'll do my best. Be sure to vote for your favorite merch design. I hope the music was to your liking. Please support the channel so I can afford to branch into other art content and maybe gaming.
Hello. Thank you for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. If you have any suggestions for future content, comment and let me know. I know many are not comfortable with AI art. But, I am saving to gather supplies to delve into other art styles. It will take time. But, I am hoping to get into resin, woodworking, and metalworking. All I ask, please enjoy my videos.